brutalism. But others, they become more sophisticated. So yes, the DNA in those projects is there, but other projects, sometimes there's a bunch of ideas orbiting your mind, and slowly, for one reason or another, they coalesce to more express a temperateness. So there might be a really refined brass, perforated brass screen suspended off the, so really expressing the sense iron cladding off the superstructure. But clearly that's not primitive, it's refined and expressing that sense of being sophisticated. Does that answer?
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Then I will just ask one, and I don't want to keep anybody longer. And in fact, I'm going to follow on Kostani's question, but in a sense, maybe in a different sense. Meaning that, first of all, I didn't necessarily read at the vision of the primitive per se, but imperfect on purpose. So not imperfect is in the sense of primitive, but imperfect in the sense of life itself. And meaning that it's telling a story, as I mentioned in my introduction, and as it narrates it, it tells the story. It's not like a human being today is so conditioned with our appearances. This one is not afraid to show what it is, where it is coming from, what it's dealing with, how it was formed, and also with all these references to the context and everything, but proud of being who it is, not needing any plastic operation to look perfectly imperfect. But again, in the interior, it's so sleek, it's so perfectly finished that it made me think that maybe there's a separation, even though, yes, that facade is load-bearing and it's carrying the life in the interior, but facade is for the public, for the place it sits in, whereas the life itself is perfect with the reminder of the life outside.
Yeah, okay, so I sort of didn't answer that part of the question, but you're right to pick up on that. Let me answer that first, and then because there's two questions in that, really. So the domestic floors internally, if you look at them carefully, they're just, it's effectively a concrete slab that you're looking at, and you probably can't pick it up in the photographs, but they're very rough. You can see the aggregate in that slab. The floor is just polished because obviously you can't quite walk on the aggregate, so you have to polish that a bit, and that's really all there is going back into the structure, back to the stair core. That's your inhabited space. If you look through the windows, some of those columns, you can see the rough through the window of columns and beams. When you then inhabit the space, we decided that we'd inhabit it with furniture items. So those furniture items are bookcases, wardrobes for your clothing, and then bathrooms which are like large pieces of cabinetry. All of those are oak with full-height doors, and then the interiors are oak lined. So it's cabinetry that's specially made, as it were. So it's like buying a wardrobe and bringing it into your house. So it's a refined piece of craftsmanship. You leave that to the craftsman. You don't necessarily dictate to them, saying, I need it to be artificially brutal in its appearance, rougher. So we left that to them as pieces of cabinetry that come in. The idea of the sliding and pivoting full-height pieces in the cabinetry is that when it's all closed and looks like a box, it's effectively an open plan, free-form plan. You can do what you like, run around them. When you have guests and you want to shut them off, all those doors come into position and they define the space that's on the other side of that cabinetry. Ultimately, the idea is that you can remove all of those and just have one big open plan space that one day might become an office. So it gives you that flexibility. So it's defined by currently the domestic requirements, and it might be defined some other way in the future. But ultimately, really, it's just a utility floor acts as utility ready for occupation. And the occupation is defined by those people who whatever they practice within it. Now, there's the other question is not beautifying, not processing. So, in Japan, for 1,000 years, they were happy in refining more and more, especially during a period when they decided they didn't want any more, any influence from the outside world at all, because they felt that was threatening, and actually banned foreigners and they banned foreign travel. They perfected internally their rituals, and that's part of the reason we admire the culture so much, because it's so perfect in places and so ritualized. But it became frustrating at one point for them, and they realized even the flaw in when you turn a pot, so there's a famous apocryphal tale of the potter, one of the emperor's potters, coming back after a break and finding that he'd left a thumbprint in the pot by mistake instead of rubbing it, and it was too late. But he left it in there because he realized that it's a sign of humanity in what has become a perfectly abstracted form. With that then came also, why don't we leave, instead of perfectly refined beams inside the buildings, why don't we bring a piece of timber as it is and use it as a beam? So every day we can look at it and be reminded actually where it comes from. It comes from the tree, it has the spirit of nature, and literally eventually in their deities, if you like, the spirit is actually in the material itself. So ultimately in the wood, in the stone, and other materials. So they found an acceptance of frailty, human frailty in the making of things, but also in the beauty of the frailty, the imperfect in nature. I guess that might take us some time to recognise, or if we recognise it, to adopt culturally.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, please.
I'm so sorry, I'm so late, but I'm dying to pose a question.
Okay.
I spent 5 years doing my doctoral studies in London, and Londoners are conservative. So, is this building, is it welcome? What about the reaction of the neighborhood? I'm really curious about it.
Well, you don't have to ask too much. You can Google it. And, so the planning process. Basically, there's a group of neighbours who are about 10 in total who hate it. But unfortunately, even 10 can have influence. Especially with fake news and all the rest of it. You can imagine today, it's very easy for a website forum to be established and then email the entire neighbourhood who are already connected with other forums, and before you know it, I'm not only being sent copies of emails, but actually leaflets, printed leaflets from a neighbour who says, have you seen this? What does it say? They called it Aleppo House. Yeah? Aleppo House because apparently it looked like
It's been into the war zone.
War zone, yeah, exactly. Built by a recent Syrian immigrant who paid a bribe to the planner to build this, blah blah blah. Yeah? And I thought, this is rubbish. Just, ignore it. Bizarre thing is, I'm not a politician. I don't understand political science at all. Well, people believe it, don't they? Despite the fact they know who the hell I am, they're thinking, oh, somebody else must have built it, and me just happens to live there. This mysterious, recent arrival, Syrian recent arrival. And so slowly but surely, the rumour builds up that it must have been done by some corrupt means by this crazy Syrian guy, and people are beginning to sign a piece of paper saying, we must do something about it. And then one day, I have an officer from the local authority meeting me on site, wants to meet me on site, saying, this is built illegally. It's just completely getting out of hand. And the leaflets are saying it's all illegal. And what's happened is I can't work out whether it was, if I was paranoid, I would think somebody took all the papers, documentation, and hid it. I think the innocent explanation is our planning officer that we dealt with, he retired. And now in the UK what happens is that any paper documents have to be scanned and uploaded, and then the paper is just got rid of. So when he retired, he was not somebody, he was old, he wasn't somebody who uploaded it himself. And when somebody took his desk, I think what happened is they just got rid of all the paperwork, sent it away. So there's literally not a single shred of paper or evidence that we ever even submitted any drawings, had any correspondence, etc., etc. Fortunately, we have it all there. But of course, I, not understanding political science, allowed this thing to go on for about a year and a half before I finally got a letter from the planning department saying, no, there's no evidence. Please demolish it. Okay, fine, I better get all the evidence myself, give it to a solicitor, send it to the planning department. Before I even had a chance to do that, one of the local politicians thought, well, you know, the elections are coming. I'll take this up as a cause to show that I'm, you know, on the side of right, and went to the local press and said, yes, this is entirely crazy, illegal, concrete monstrosity by this crazy person who's arrived in the country, blah, blah, blah. And then a day later, the planning department told him, whoops, we did give him permission for this. So now the politician is trying to save face, and it's not quite all over, but yeah, so there's the answer to your question. One or two people who didn't like it started a rumour before you know it. Thankfully, it's only 10 now. And as a result, we've got lots of people who come out in opposition to that by the thousands, thankfully. But still, it's an important lesson. Make sure you look after the documents, and they do. And then if any rumours like that start, get rid of that fake news straight away. Don't allow it to sit there for a year and a half. Does that answer it?
Yeah,
Sort of.
I think it does.
Otherwise, most people like it. I think.
Well, thank you very much. And maybe if there is a question, last one, is there? No? Okay. Again, thank you very much, Amin, and thank you very much for being here.